Just before we take on that issue of security, well, of course, about travel all over the nation for the Yuletide, we would like to take you to the airport, MM2 in Lagos, where our correspondent Bukola Joketumbi is standing by to give us a feel of what's happening right now at that airport. Yes, Bukola, so take us through what's the feel like right now at MM2 in Lagos? Bukola, can you hear me now? What's the feel at the airport right now? People moving around, travel, and all of that. Give us an experience.
Jimmy, can you speak up?
Okay, well,
Hello?
while we're waiting, we'll work on that communication and get back to you. But in the meantime, let's quickly go to Abuja to take on that security issue. Markwe is right there with our guest. Markwe.
Thank you, Ayo. But right there behind Buki, you can see that there is a very long queue of people waiting to travel this morning. It's Christmas Eve. It's unbelievable. Another Christmas is here already. We have with us in the studio this morning. Yes, you can see the visuals there. And while we wait to link up with Buki, at least you can see for yourself just how busy the airport is. And I imagine that, the motor parks will be the same thing as well. A lot of people will be traveling out of season, trying to ensure that they're in their respective places, wherever it is that they want to go for the festive season, for the celebrations. Well, to keep you safe in this season, to ensure that you have tips, if you're at home, you're not traveling this morning, you're watching us, some of the tips that you can have handy to ensure that in this season you stay safe. We have with us this morning Joshua Kabila, who is a retired DIG of Police Operations. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you for having me.
Merry Christmas to you.
I wish you the same.
Are you all ready for,
yes.
for the festive season?
Very, very ready.
And it's lovely, I know that one of the areas where people have anxiety is usually security. They want to celebrate, but sometimes they're not very sure. I know that for a number of people, perhaps the decision to even go by air was forced for them. Maybe they would have preferred to go by road. What would you say? How would you assess our preparation level, as a country for security during this festive season?
Yes, okay. Security is the business of everyone. Even though the engine is being driven by the security operatives, the security organizations, the police, and other security structures. But the basic thing that we should be able to put in place is, getting the support of members of the public to also participate. In fact, security of individuals rests with them because they need to, if they see something, they should say something. The members of the public are better placed to let the security agencies know what is happening in their environment and what are the challenges. And so policing without the public will not be an effective exercise.
Indeed. However, there are major issues that perhaps the public might not have a very strong hand in. So you had there the DG of the NOA reeling out tips to people on how to stay safe in this season. Don't be ostentatious. Yes. Keep a low profile. Yes. Oh, don't talk too much about your itinerary, yes, and things of the sort. Yes. However, in spite of following all of these things, there's always the chance kidnapping here. There's always the, occasional armed robbery there and, yes, things of the sort. Yes. Would you say that on the part of security agencies, because I know a lot of people will still be traveling by road and you'll be wondering whether the roads will be safe for them. On that one, they don't have a lot of control over it, do they? In terms of cooperating with the security agencies. They will be hoping that the security agencies will anticipate that things like this will happen and will have gotten ready for them.
Yes, I quite agree with members of the public. to say that the police should, the security agencies, and those of them deployed for security purposes should understand that there is a possibility of people trying to harm, people trying to rob while this season lasts. But like I said, there isn't any preparation to rob or to commit crime that its traces would not be known by just one person in such an environment. You will see that the security agencies by the police, security agencies that is led by the Nigerian police, particularly the internal security, would have a very robust planning, drawing up an operation order, spelling out exactly what the situations are or what are the challenges in the various areas, particularly all the highways and some of the areas within the various states in this country. They have an idea because they've done what we call trade analysis, and they know the black spots. And usually, as it is now, if you drive now, you will see a lot of deployment to places that are called flashpoints and black spots by the Nigerian police, as directed by the Inspector General of Police in the normal operation order that we call Operation Embermont, that starts from September and end beyond January. You would see that definitely there are people physically placed and vehicles and other equipment mobilized. You will see that there is a great presence, a lot of presence of security personnel all around. But to make it very effective, members of the public should build confidence and have the trust of the security agencies, whether it is the Nigerian police or the civil defense or the federal road safety or whatever it is, to be able to open up, to bring information and intelligence of people that are likely to commit crime, because some of these are exposed even before they are committed.
Indeed, and we're hoping that, people, members of the public will be very proactive. However, there will be questions as to whether or not we have rejigged the mechanism for communication with the police to ensure that whenever people have information, they're able to transmit it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Do you think that we already have that between the police and the public?
Yeah, it's ongoing. I think the trust and
not just the trust, the communication mechanism.
Yeah, there are a lot of avenues for communication mechanism. There are a lot of communication going on between the Nigerian police and other security agencies with the members of the public, with this concept of community policing. Community policing is building trust in the police by police taking decision as to how to patrol, how to ensure security in a community. Police don't now no longer come out to say, this is what I want to do. But they have to get people together for the people to tell the police. It's a bottom-top thing. What are your challenges here? And then they profile solutions together. And the solutions that have been found are also, forced together with members of the public. But I can tell you that in the few months, there has been a lot of deliberate attempt to make sure that the police and the community, the police, members of the public, the police have a meeting point where they will agree that what the police is doing as regards to their safety is right, and what is left undone is also brought to the fore and placed on the table. There's a lot of improvement.
Can you tell us, if just in case anybody's watching this morning and he's wondering, he or she's just wondering, in case I have an emergency or in case I want to quickly reach the police, how would you suggest that they do so?
Yeah,
I know you're not a police spokesperson or
once
the
a
PRO.
Police, always a police.
Indeed,
yeah.
however.
The emergency telephone lines at the force headquarters here,
yes,
and at all the state command are in public domain. And I believe also that...
those numbers are very clumsy.
Yes, okay, but those in the state, a lot of members of the public are very, 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 very responsive now, and they should take time to get to the PRO. The things are displayed, and for every occasion, these things are released to members of the public.
So perhaps maybe in this season, that's one of the things that the Nigerian police should be doing. Perhaps publicizing those numbers even more to ensure that people are able to reach them drop of a hat in this season. You don't think so?
Yeah, I do. But like I said, very sincerely, if in the few days that have gone past, you would see every commissioner of police in the various commands and the assistant inspector general of police in the various zones displaying phone lines and some other means of getting to the police very, very fast. If that is not done, as this program is being run, I know that commissioners of police will pick this. And I'm going to let them know after this that they should endeavor to put that right away if they've not done so. But I can assure you that if you ask members of the public, a lot of them have access to some of these emergency phone lines that are public domain.
So in addition to, you know, some of the, will I say, measures being reeled out there by the NOA,
yes.
Orientation Agency,
yes.
Would you kindly tell our viewers some of the other things that they can do to ensure that they stay safe
yes.
in this season?
Members of the public should not be ostentatious. They should not display their wealth.
What is ostentation? I mean...
Well, wearing all sort of things, very expensive apparels and then wristwatches and what have you. And then...
what is the season? Isn't it the season where we look grand and we look
yes,
gay
yeah, you
happy?
do that where is expected, but you see a lot of people wanting to show off, and then it attracts criminals. It attracts criminals, and people want to display their wealth. People want to show that they've arrived, and some of these things are responsible for, you know, encouraging these criminals to come and hit. And then you must be careful. There are places you avoid, and because that is why we're saying that the police and members of the public must think and operate together. The police share in each of these states areas that people should watch while moving. There are points. If you are even driving on the highways, there are these trade analyses that have been done and have been shared. And there are a lot of meetings, the Police Community Relations Committee and some other committees are always out dishing out this to members of the public. And so you must know what kind of crime that exists in some areas, and you avoid some of those places at the time this crime used to occur.
Well, I don't know if our correspondent Bukola is now finally ready in the airport in Lagos, but I believe that when she is ready, we'll be going to her sometime to ensure that we get a feel of what is actually happening at the airport. And I also know that we have a correspondent at the parks for you. Do you think that there are any measures that we should be taking, any safety measures? Because we know that in this season, a lot of emergency parks come on. People know that there is, will I say, a proliferation of people who want to travel,
yes.
where there is a huge demand
yes.
of people who want to travel, and as such, you see a lot of emergency motor parks
yes.
set up,
yes.
even right here in the Federal Capital Territory.
Yes.
My way to work, I saw one, you know, just around the Apple area there.
I saw one too.
Would you say that it is safe, though, to be able to take transport from those kinds of
Not
parks?
safe at all. Not safe at all.
So you would not recommend it?
No, not at all.
But sometimes people don't have a choice. Sometimes the regulated transport seems too expensive, and sometimes they're fully booked.
You have to be very patient. You have to plan your trips very well, and you have to get to a designated, well-established and well-known motor parks for you to take your vehicle to wherever you want to go.
Yeah, but in the event that people have to use those kind of means, because sometimes necessity is the mother of invention.
No, very, very risky. They would rather not do that.
What security measures would you advise that they take?
There are not two ways. They should avoid, taking vehicles and getting to motor parks that are not official, because those people cannot be trusted. And that's the problem. And whatever it is better you don't go than to insist on getting to a place or taking a vehicle in a place where it's just a temporary motor park. That is very, very dangerous.
Now, that's the most ideal situation. You and I know that those motor parks would not exist if they knew that they would not get customers. The truth of the matter is, as we speak, we know that a lot of people who already have boarded vehicles from there, and they'll be on their way to their many destinations. Just in case anybody is still saying, well, that's the only way I can see out of my situation right now, what would you be telling them? What security measures would you be telling them to take?
Okay, if they happen to want to do that, then they should watch, because the body language of the passenger and the driver himself, if they discover that he's not coordinated and funny things are happening, because sometimes you see him getting stopped everywhere or sharing some drinks. You don't allow that. You take an excuse and you insist that you terminate your trip. Because if you continue, because there's just no way that the man would just take you into danger without showing some signs. If you must take a vehicle at a point that is not a designated motor park, and you must do that, then you must create an eagle eye to know within or inside that vehicle whose attitude is not trusted, who is doing what that he's not supposed to do, the driver himself and the occupants. They give themselves up even before committing that crime. You must insist or put a call through if you must, if you can, and if you cannot, all you need to do is to ask for excuse or get into a police checkpoint. You raise an alarm. Otherwise, you'll be a victim.
So that's that for our viewers who are going to be going to motor parks that are not designated. It is not advisable. However, if you must do it, then you have to be your own security man and be on the watch. He said, develop an eagle eye.
Yes.
What more would you be looking at in this season? Some people will say that, have we deployed the use of technology to, say, for instance, monitor perhaps the flow of traffic in this season? I know that the police is supposed to be working very closely with the Federal Road Safety Commission in this season, because they are not armed, and they also have a responsibility for safety in this season. Have we been able to deploy the use of technology to ensure that people stay safe in this season?
There are some technology that are not, they're not quite adequate. Of course, you could see...
what sort of technology do we have in the first place?
Yeah,
before we talk about whether or not it is adequate.
Yeah, there are some. The police has the ability and the capacity to get those who have committed crime and have taken to flight, and their numbers are known. They have the means of trying to get to such people. They've done a lot of it. They have the means also to get those who also use a lot of technology to steal, technology to wipe up people's money or to take people's money in the bank. There are a lot of, we have that, but it's being built up. But they've done excellently well. They can get kidnappers through process of trying to negotiate for ransom demand. And then for the Federal Road Safety, they also have means of identifying vehicles plate numbers, and they also have the ability now to know those who are driving and are also on phone making calls. We haven't gotten there, but there's a deliberate effort that is coming up so that we can have full-blown technology, but we're not there yet.
In a case where people are driving and, for instance, there's any I don't want to say hold up, but there's an incident that ensures that, you know, that blocks the flow of traffic. It could be a robbery, it could be a kidnapping attempt, it could be a very terrible accident. We're hoping that, you know, people will drive carefully, but accidents happen. Would you say that the police, and I don't know about the FRSA, but has the police been primed to be able to respond swiftly in those kinds of situations?
Yet I can assure you that one of the training of security agencies, the police, the civil defense, the federal road safety, and all of that, you know, every one of them have undergone some training that has to do with prompt response to distress call in terms of emergency. You could say that sometimes they are prevented because of some equipment that are not available. And that's why there's a deliberate attempt, you can see recently, that the government is doing its best, you know, to equip all the security agencies with the required tools to be able to do well. But I can assure you that we have one of the best security personnel in this country, if properly managed, and if we have what it takes to get some of this equipment, they'll be able to do better.
Well, I understand that our correspondent, Bukola Joe-Ketumbo, is ready for us now, and we'll be asking her, Bukola, do our, well, fellow Nigerians feel safe as they're traveling in this season? Are they excited about going to their different destinations?
Okay. Good morning, studio, and good morning, Maokwe. Right now, we're at the Muritala Mohammed Airport 2 in Lagos, and the crowd is beginning to surge. Earlier in the day, if you saw some of the pictures that we sent, there were quite a number of passengers. Those are passengers for the early flights of 6:10, 7:10. But now the subsequent flights going at around 9:45, the queues are beginning to build. Just very close by is the queue for Azman Air Lagos Owerri. I must say that the pressure is really on the southeastern route. Of course, you know that many of our brothers from that part of the country at this time of the year, wherever they are, whether outside Nigeria, within Nigeria, are heading home. And so this particular flight that is just right by me would leave at 9:45. If you look across this terminal, there are quite a number of other carriers, Aero, Arik, Air Peace. All of them have a substantial number of people who are heading out to their various destinations.
Well, thank you,
From
Joe.
we have a total of about 447 flights that will be taking off today. Some are already taking off, and some are yet to. That's between 6:10 and 9:10 p.m. in the evening. About, say, like 10 flights have already departed today. There are no delays yet. There are no cancellations. The weather is, from our own layman eyes, the weather is beautiful. We don't know what would happen later in the day.
Okay, Tumbi, do stay safe, and
I have to
greet the people that you see at the airport for us. Tell them that we wish them Johnny Mercies. Well, I know that this season is, well, for people who want to fly, they're always very anxious as well because they're not sure what the weather is going to be like. But thankfully, the weather in Lagos seems to look good, and it seems to be looking good at the destination where they expect it to land.
Yes.
However, you know, as we also get ready for this season, are there any other areas that you think that people need to look out specifically for, apart from the fact that, oh, you've told them don't be ostentatious, or keep a low profile and things of the sort? Have there been areas of concern to you almost every year while you were a police officer that you think that, you know, Nigerians haven't paid sufficient attention to?
Yes, there are. A lot of times we've seen people not actually planning their trips well, and
how do you know that? I mean, not planning their trips well.
Yeah, because they rushed, and you see them taking any available vehicle. Some, even the lorries, overloaded. Vehicles are overloaded, and the commuters are not complaining. They know that the capacity of a vehicle does not take that kind of load that they are even part, and yet they allow that. I think
that's more on the area of safety. Is the police still concerned about safety as well as security?
Very well. Very well. But in terms of security, once you want to leave, you are home, you make sure that your doors are closed, you make sure that the electricity is switched off, and then you avoid going to areas that you know that there are miscreants and report incidents of such miscreants, because you know some of the crime are opportunities. Once they notice that police have drove past, they commit that crime.
Well, I think it's also very important to harp on the fact that our viewers, please be your neighbor's keeper in this season. If you know you're at home and your neighbor has traveled, please keep an eye out for their property as well. I think that might also help a great deal. We have to thank you, for sharing your thoughts with us, especially on security in particular in this season. Joshua Kabila is a retired DIG of Police Operations. Well, that'll be it for this segment. Sunrise Daily will continue in a moment with something also very related, and this one might interest you, so do stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.